So here comes part 9B. So when we think about all of the contributions that Black women have played when it comes to fighting in war, helping other Black people get to freedom, helping presidents, Black women are incredibly profound and powerful beings. So I need us to rethink that question of what do you bring to the table? Because for many Black women, especially during times of war, they literally created spy networks and in some instances started what we know as the beginnings of the Secret Service. So picture it, you have the secession of Southern states, and Black women are literally at the forefront of having multiple positions, from being spies to cooks to transport to working on naval gunboats. Like, they literally did it all. And you literally had women like Susie King Taylor, who was working as a medical practitioner in the army camps. Like, this book, A Black Women's History of the United States, has been such a phenomenal read because we get to see experiences of multiple Black women serving in the war. And one of the things that I want to point out are a couple of snippets, so stay with me for a second. Okay, so let me set the stage for you. I am, again, A Black Women's History of the United States. I am going to read and kind of bounce around a little bit from the chapter that's titled Mary's Apron and the Demise of Slavery, 1860 to 1876. So this chapter is talking about the contributions that Black women had throughout this time period of serving as spies and the various positions that I pointed to before. But one of the things that I wanted to read was talking about how Harriet Tubman was starting their military career and not only working to steward the ships, I'll call it, but as she was working with these boats, it reads, I never saw such a sight. Some of the women would come with twins hanging around their necks. I never saw so many twins in my life. The women also had bags on their shoulders, baskets on their heads, and young ones tagging along behind. Tubman would witness Black women risking their lives to gain liberty for themselves and their children. Imagine what it took to bring young children to the banks of the water in the dead of night. They had to keep quiet and wait for the ships to arrive and pray they would not be detected. Think about that. I know how loud and rambunctious I am, let alone trying to bring my children to freedom. And literally, when you think about the experience that Tubman also have, was in addition to supporting these folks trying their hardest to get to freedom, she would also steal goods from the mansions and set fire to properties, and just to be able to help people get to freedom. Then it also talks about how there was an entire community of free Black people around the area of Suffolk, Virginia, that literally lived in swampland and got used to living in that area. And one of the things that I often think about when I'm driving through that area is having this intense connection to that land, knowing that my ancestors were here and they tilled the land, and they fought for their liberation, and so many people were fighting constantly, trying to make sure that their freedom would be obtained, that they could learn to read and write. And it's just so much to think about. And I want you to think about a Black woman in your life that has that fire, that passion, that drive to make a better life for themselves. And I want you to just call them up, text them, and let them know that you are proud of them, because Black women have fought tooth and nail for this country and for many people in this country. So I have no problem at this point when people ask me, what do I bring? My answer to that is I bring the souls of my ancestors with me everywhere I go. So I'm always going to be prepared to support my people with liberation. Always.